want to show you that chord inversions are not what they seem. It's actually a cure for a common mix-up in this subject in music theory. But first a little about myself and what we do here at Sound and Perception. As I've said, I'm Iran. I have a master's degree in composition and many years of experience as a music instructor in many fields, especially in music theory. And here at Sound and Perception on several platforms. So if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. Wow, I'm beginning to sound like a regular YouTuber. Well, here we give tips and insights into the wisdom of music, which we call music theory, and many times have to deal with concepts in theory learned the wrong way, which brings me to the subject of inversions. This is actually one of the most incorrectly taught subjects, but first let's remind ourselves what chords are. Okay, so here's a chord. As you can see, it's basically made of 3 notes, one above the other. It's actually 2/3 stacked one above the other. That's the C, and a third above that, that's the E, and a third above that, that's the G. The first note down there is called the root of the chord, and it gives its name, its first name anyhow. So this would be called a C chord, and then we have this, the middle note is its third, the third of this chord, and the upper note is its 5th. If you want to learn more about building chords, you may check out my recent video I've just released about building chords. Now sometimes the chord will not appear like this, but it will appear with the E at its base. So actually in this case what we should do is take the C and drag it up. Okay, and that will be a first inversion because we have inverted the order of the notes in the chord, and sometimes the G would be in the bass, so we will have to repeat this twice. We take the C up, and then we take the E up an octave. Okay, and that will be a second inversion. But there's the rub, because in real life chords do not always appear like this, with 2/3 stacked one above the other. In an orchestra playing a C major chord, for example, you will have one instrument, say the flute, play the C here, right at the top, and you could have a violin play an E just below that, and some instruments play, the clarinet play a G, and another instrument playing another C down there. So you see there are no thirds here. So how could we invert? How can we invert this chord? This is root position. Now in real life, when the bass changes from the note of the root note of the chord to another of the notes of the chord, say if this viola or cello goes up, which now serve as bass, go up and play E, and it doesn't matter what the order of notes are above that E, that counts as a first inversion. Or if in this particular case there will be in the orchestra no one plays any note lower than G, say if I erase this counts as a second inversion, which means that the order of notes above the bass, where they are ordered as C, E, G or G, E, C or any other way, does not count at all when we talk about inversions. All that matters is what the bass is. If the bass is the root, that counts as a root position. Then we would have to have another G. If the bass is the third, that's the first inversion. And if the bass is some G, the fifth of this chord, then it counts as a second inversion. So you see, as it is usually taught, when the notes of the chord are arranged in thirds, then indeed you have to roll the lower note and put it up like this to create a first inversion. But that's only in this particular case when there are three voices and they are ordered into thirds. But in real life, it seldom happens. It's represented wrongly as some kind of inner movement, rearrangement of the order of the notes, shuffling of the thirds. But it's really not accurate. So really, inversions are bass positions, and I'd rather they'd be called that, but no one's asking me. So we have to settle with the old terminology, which refers to all this as inversions. But we invert nothing, we just change the bass. And again, I want to emphasize the order of the notes above the bass does not matter. As long as you have the notes of the chord, the C, the E, and the G, above any of these notes in the bass, it still counts as a C chord. But according to the bass, we know whether it's a root position when the bass is the root, or a first inversion where when the bass is the third of the chord, or a second inversion when the fifth of the chord is downstairs at the bass. So there you are, and hammer it into your head. The order of notes above the bass does not interest us at all in determining what the inversion is, because we do not invert anything, we just change the bass position. Okay, hope this cleared up the mess. For more of this, if you're on Facebook, press the like button, or subscribe if you're on YouTube, and please share what we're doing here. You can also check out on Fiverr for one-on-one lessons online, which you can hire me, and follow my courses also on Udemy. So, Eran Solomon, your music theory teacher from Jerusalem, signing off. Bye bye.